What's going on, everybody? Nick Alberiti here, back. Week 13 NFL picks and predictions. Happy Thanksgiving week to all. And yeah, but just another week. This is what you call the week where, like, playoffs really start to get fueled up. Like that Thanksgiving week. It used to be week 12 because it used to go up to week 17, but now, it's an extra week. So now you just push it back to week 13. Is when the NFL, they really start with the playoff brackets and this and that, and it's really picks up. I call this the official start of like the playoff season, like because December's this week basically. So last week I went 8-5. A couple games in there screwed you. Big spreads. I had Washington, and he lost to Dallas. I had Houston, they lost to Tennessee. So games like that, and my overall record is now 121-57. So I'm still doing pretty well for the year. But I just can't get that undefeated week, and I'm not keeping track of, like, I'm not adding my record in the playoffs. It's just regular season. So there's no point in doing that. It's going to be a regular season. Once playoffs come, I just pick the games for the week, and then we move along. So let's get into it. Let's just get into it. Thanksgiving's Thursday, so we're going to start off with these games, obviously. And first, I'll start with the buys this week. We actually have no buys. So, no buys. It's weird how there's no buys this week when the next week there's buys. So, let's jump into it. So, here we go. We start the first game Thursday at 12:30 on CBS. You have the Bears at the Lions, annual Lions Thanksgiving game. They have not won in the last, I think, 7 years. So, I think that'll change this week. The Lions are 10-point favorites. Over-under is 48.5. The Bears, they finally, look a little bit better recently, the last two games. But I'll talk about it more when we get to the Vikings game. But there's no way the Bears today came back in that game. Thankfully, the Vikings won. But every week it's got to be a heart attack, a scare of a heart attack for the Vikings. But, the Bears did look better. I mean, 11 of their points last week were Vikings played prevent and shit, so that made the game a little bit interesting. If we don't play prevent, I think we walk out of there with a 27-16 win. But the Bears still did look a little bit better. And the Lions, they beat the Colts, but, they didn't put up, some people probably said, like 38-10 type of games. And last week, I think I said like 27-20. So I didn't think the Lions were going to score a lot. And this week, I think it's going to be a close game. Division game, I think that spread's a little bit high. I think the Bears keep this game within that margin. I don't think the Lions win by 17, whatever. I think it's going to be a one-score Lions game. Short week. I don't think they're going to, destroy them. So I'm going to sit here and say 27-21 Lions. I think, it's just going to be like a backdoor, Bears touchdown and, something like that to make this a one-score game. But I think the Lions win, but it's gonna be a closer game than maybe the line says. And then we got the Giants at the Cowboys at 4:30 on Fox. Dallas is 3.5. Over-under is 37.5. I'll take Dallas here at home on the short week. I would be taking Dallas regardless, even if they lost last week or whatever. But the Giants are just checked out. Neighbors is frustrated. They're all just frustrated over there. The quarterback situation's a mess. So, how can I not take Dallas at home? So, I think it's gonna be a close game because there's no Dak. If Dak was playing, I think Dallas would blow him out. But I'm gonna say 23-17 Cowboys. So. And then we got the nightcap on NBC. We have the Dolphins at the Packers. Green Bay's 3.5. Over-under 46.5. It was a little bit of a weird game, man. Green Bay, after scoring all those points against a hospital San Francisco team, Miami's desperate. Like, Miami legit could win this game. But I think the weather is a big factor into it. 28 degrees. They're not used to it. You know what I mean? They're not used to it. So that's why I'm taking Green Bay, because they're home, short week, Thanksgiving, and the weather. Like, if this game was like a 65-degree game, I'd probably take Miami, but I think I just got to go Green Bay because it's just the cold weather, and Miami's just not used to it. So I'm going to take the Packers here. I think it's going to be a very close ending to the game. It could be a game-winning field goal, touchdown, something like that. But I'm just going to go field goal here. I'm going to say 23-20 Green Bay, a squeaker type finish. But hey, I'm excited for it. Miami's look better. It should be an interesting game. And then we got a Black Friday special. A lot of people are thinking this game's gonna be close, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs, and I'll never take the Raiders, never. I was looking down because I was thinking I'm not trying to make this my lock. I have a different lock on here that's something that I said last week, but you'll see. So I got the Chiefs here, obviously. I think Mahomes is gonna just light this team up. I'm probably gonna end up starting him in fantasy over Daniels. I think Black Friday at home like this. I think it's just the Mahomes special. You should have like two or three touchdown passes. I think it's gonna be a big game. And some people are saying like 27-20. I don't think it's gonna be that close. They play well. They played close to Carolina last week. I think that was a fluke. Carolina they played better than what most people thought. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs here. I'm gonna say 31-20. It's just gonna be a game where Kansas City's in control all game. So, and then we move on to Sunday. We have the Chargers at the Falcons. The Chargers are 3, over-under 47.5. This game's a really tough game to choose. Chargers off a short week. Atlanta at home, coming off a bye. I'll take the Falcons. You got to take a couple of the upsets. I'm going to take the Falcons because next week Atlanta goes to Minnesota, and the Vikings are not going to lose to Kirk Cousins at home. So I think the Falcons know they need this game, and the Chargers coming off a short, rest week loss. Now they got to travel across country. That could screw with a team. Especially going on the road like that. It's different if you're coming back home, and now they're going on the road. So I think Atlanta's going to pull off the upset. It's not really an upset. It ain't like they're 5-point underdogs. It's just a 2-point spread. But I think Atlanta, Bijan should have a big game because the Chargers pass D is supposedly great, according to ESPN app. It says it. So, but I'll take the Falcons here. I'll take them 24-20, a 4-point win. And then we got the Steelers at the Bengals. Cincinnati is 3, over-under 46.5. It's supposed to be a cold one in here. It says 26 degrees. Woo. This is gonna be a good game. I think I think this is a game where the line's telling you the Bengals will win. Coming off the bye, the Steelers coming off the longer 10-day rest. I understand that, but I think the Bengals, they like this is their last gasp. Like if they lose this game, I said the other day, I said I was done taking the Bengals, but that line, I don't want to get suckered into it. I don't want to be suckered into it and not take them. So that line just has Bengals written all over it. Just banging to take the Steelers. So give me Bengals. I'm going to take them 27-23 at home. I just think, the Steelers don't score enough to make you believe the Steelers will win this game. But I think, Chase won't have that game that maybe some might think because the Steelers' defense is still a good defense. And then we got the Cardinals at the Vikings. The Vikings are 3.5, over-under 45.5. No doubt here I'm taking the Vikings. I'm surprised that line is even that low. I think it's, everybody buying into the Cardinals hype. But to me, they're not that good of a team. The Vikings it's going to be another one-scored, entertaining finish, interesting game. The same type of shit that I have to get my heart rate up every week. It shouldn't have to be this way. It really shouldn't have to be this way. That last week's game, that's inexcusable to go into overtime. Even though they won, yes, but it shouldn't have to be that way. It should have been a 27-16 game, or even they score and get the 2 and you still win by 3. But it shouldn't have. You got to recover that on side. It shouldn't have to be this way. But yeah, all that matters is they won. A couple people were saying, the Vikings got lucky against the Bears last week, but then the Packers just played them the week before and they got lucky blocking field goals and winning by a point. And then Christian Watson catch that game. They said it hit the ground, but the refs didn't see it and the play stood or whatever. So come on. I mean, I don't. It's weird that the Vikings are still the most hated team in that division, but meanwhile, they're definitely if the Lions if the Lions are the best, then the Vikings are clear cut second best over Green Bay. Clear cut. And the Vikings are only getting better. So, not just this year, next year. So, no matter what happens this season, we exceeded expectations. And the haters are mad to say it. They still talk shit. Nobody thought this would be a 9-2 team with Sam Darnold. Nobody thought it. And everybody laughed. And, July, August, 6 wins. Yeah, that's what they thought. So no matter what happens the remainder of the season, it's gravy. So when you're sitting at the kitchen table, dining room table for Thanksgiving dinner, when you're pouring that gravy on that turkey, just think that's the Vikings. It's just gravy. It's just gravy. That's exactly what I'm gonna say. When gravy's poured out on my turkey, my sandwich, whatever I'm gonna make, with bread, rolls, all that good stuff. Just think of the Vikings. You're pouring it. It's just gravy. The rest of the season, gravy. But I'm gonna take them to win. I think this game. I'm just gonna assume a one-score game. I think they beat the Cardinals, 28-21. I feel like it's just Kyler Murray coming in there. I think he's gonna struggle and get a couple picks, sack him. Sacks are gonna be a little bit tough because he's a little bit more mobile, but he's gonna have a couple throws that he's gonna want back, and Vikings win. And it's crazy. We won last week and Jefferson got shut down. And some people say, oh, you got to stop Jefferson. But look, all they did was stop Jefferson. Look what happened. Addison killed Ian Hawks and Jones. So that's all I got to say. Then we got the Colts at the Patriots. Indy's 2.5. Over-under's 42.5. This game could have upset written all over it, but I'm going to still take the Colts. I think Jonathan Taylor is due for a massive game. He's due. The last 2 weeks he did shit. So I'm going to take the Colts here. I'm going to say 24-16 Indy. But, the Patriots, May's doing all right, but I just don't see him. I don't know. It's just their offense is eh. But now here's my lock of the week. I'm taking the Seahawks on the road at the Jets. Yes, a little bit ballsy. Seahawks are 2, over-under 41.5, but the Jets are just a complete overhaul mess. They hate Rodgers over there. He's probably going to get released, and no, he's not going to end up with the Vikings. It wouldn't make sense to have McCarthy coming, and we might even sign Daniel Jones for the rest of the year and then give him a new deal, and that wouldn't be bad to have him as a backup next year at McCarthy or fighting for a job. Because Darnold and Mullins are free agents. That would actually be pretty nice, but because Dimes isn't that bad, Danny Dimes. He's just not that bad. It's just the Giants suck. It's just what it is. But that's my lock of the week. The Seahawks. Again, Rodgers it's just a mess over there. I think Seattle, gets them a couple times. I wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers was benched or at least after this game, to be honest. They're just a mess. They're probably right now out of all the teams in the NFL. The Jets and Giants are probably the biggest two mess organizations. So that's why I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to take them here 27-17. I just feel like the Jets defense is going to get exposed. I think Seattle's going to be able to. Smith and Jigba's been on fire. I feel like he's going to have a big game. It's just too much to stop for the Jets. I just feel like Seattle's just going to pull away. How could anybody pick the Jets right now? It's just how could you just sit there and say, yeah, the Jets are going to win a game? They're just a mess. And then we got the Titans at the Commanders. Washington's 5.5, over is 44.5. I'll take the Commanders here to bounce back. This is a prime bounce back game for them. A lot of these games are going to have cold ass weather. Jeez, 36 degrees. So Commanders win. And Commanders win pretty well, 28-16. Don't mind that, it's the phone ringing. So, should be a pretty well game played for Daniels, I think. Tennessee's defense is pretty good, but I feel like the Commanders should be able to move the ball well. All right, that's it. Yeah, it's probably one of those spam numbers. We get those calls all the time here. All right, then we got the Texans at the Jags. I feel like the Texans should be able to win this game pretty handily. I mean, how do you lose that bad to the stinking Titans? It's pretty awful. I mean, they didn't lose that bad, but their defense, Stroud looked like shit. And I'm having some red flags and question marks about him. So, give me Houston here. The Jaguars are just how could you? How could you pick them? And just how could you? I'm going to say 27-20. I still think it's going to be a one-score game because the Texans, their incapability to pull away from teams worries me. It's the Vikings place Ivan Pace Jr. on IR. That hurts. I guess it's rather have him safe and sorry for the playoffs. It just to have that. It's just Houston right now. They can't lose. They just can't pull away from teams. I don't understand it. They have guys over there, but they just can't pull away from teams. But give me Houston. I think if you lose to the Jaguars, it's wave the white flag. Yeah, Ivan Pace Jr. had like a mini hamstring injury, but I guess they're showing him on IR for 4 games, meaning he's going to miss 1, 2. He won't be back till week 17. So, I mean, it hurts, but... And then we got the Rams at the Saints. 4 o'clock window now. We're jumping in the 4 o'clock window. I got the Rams winning here. The Saints, to me, are just dysfunctional on all occasions. They got lucky a week and a half ago. Was it? Yeah, against the Browns, I think. Because they for 35 points of those bums out there playing. No Olave and shit. But I'll take the Rams to bounce back. I think the Rams win this game. I think they win pretty well. I think they'll be able to move the ball. The Saints secondary isn't that good. So I'm going to say 31-21 Rams. Kupp and Puka should have big games. I think it's the type of game where the Rams have fun with them. And then we got the Buccaneers at the Panthers. Tampa is 6, over-under is 46.5. I don't understand why the Panthers keep getting thrown on late windows, 4 o'clock. I feel like they're always on 4 o'clock late window on Sundays. I don't understand it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't they have, Colts, New England, or, Steelers? Well, you can't really have that. See, it's a CBS game. Yeah, Colts, New England. At least that's more of an entertaining game. The Panthers are always on 4 o'clock for some reason. I'll take Tampa here to win, I guess. I think it's going to be a close game because the Panthers, made it interesting last week. I think Tampa wins here 26-21. Mike Evans, I think, is going to have a big game. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 2 touchdowns against this Panthers secondary, which would be nice to have in fantasy. But give me the Bucks. And then we got Eagles, Ravens, Baltimore 3, over-under 50.5. Eagles, they won last week. Barkley single-handedly carried that team. To me, I'll get bashed for this, but I think Barkley's the only guy over there they got to stop because, you got A.J. Brown and shit, but the offense runs through Saquon. If he got hurt on the first play next week and tore his knee up, let's say, that Eagles team takes a major dip. It runs through him. He's the heart and soul of the offense. And people were saying to me, how come we went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago without him? Because the Eagles had a good D. Their defense right now is playing over their heads, I think. I just think that when people tell me, the Eagles, look at they beat these teams. They really haven't beat anybody good. Okay, they beat the Rams last week. They're, okay. They beat the Commanders. The Commanders are not good other than Daniels. Daniels is making that team become good. The Bengals' offense is good, but their defense is arguably one of the worst in football. That's why the Eagles put up 37 against them. They played the Browns. I'm trying to remember. Banged up Dallas. And they played somebody else that isn't worth noting. What I can't remember isn't worth noting. So, they haven't. It's not It's not like they play Green Bay week 1, but they struggle with them. See what I'm saying? When they played a legit like playoff team, like because people think Green Bay is, so I'm just basing it off them. I'll take the Ravens here. They're home. I think the Eagles need to lose eventually. Tough game on the road, so I think the Ravens win, 30-27. I just feel like Lamar right now is the MVP of the league. Lamar. People are sitting here saying, "Oh, Barkley this, Barkley that," but the last time running backs got it was Adrian Peterson, and Offensive Player of the Year I still think is Derrick Henry's. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to have Henry Offensive Player of the Year as of right now. It could change, and then Lamar for MVP. But other than that, you're just sitting here just bashing me with this and that, and come on, man. Hurts is. Remember I said this. Hurts is being carried by Barkley, I feel like, because he just without Barkley, I think Hurts would be forcing more passes. Because their run game last year, the Eagles wasn't all that great. So, and just like Goff, like I'm not sitting here, I don't like the Lions either, but I think if the Eagles and Lions play, the Lions would win. But I feel like Goff gets carried by the Lions run game, and it opens up the pass. Like if Goff didn't have that run game, he wouldn't be doing good over there. So it's just what makes teams good. If teams stop Barkley, which is a tough thing to do, you're in a good spot. But give me the Ravens this week. Then we got Sunday Night Football. Still a good one. 49ers at the Bills. This line might be telling me Purdy ain't going to play. But, I don't know. They're calling for a bad snowstorm here. So that's why I'm going to take the Bills. They're 7-point favorites at home, 44.5. So I'm going to take the Bills here. I think Allen's going to have a lot of yards rushing. A lot. So give me the Bills here. I think it's going to be like a sloppy game, though. Like missed extra points, all kinds of shit. Going for 2. And it can be like a 24-20 game. It's going to be a sloppy teams. They're going to go for 2 in this. So I'm going to say 29-21 Bills. It's going to be good. They're going to go for 2 a couple times. They're going to go for 2. You know what I mean? And Bass, he's going to miss an extra point. They're going to go for it's going to be something like that. So 29-21 Bills. I just think right now the Bills are the better team, and being home, they're used to those conditions. So give me the Bills. And then we got Monday Night Football, Browns at Broncos. Denver's 5, over-under 41.5. And this game could be a little bit of a stinker/trap game for the Broncos. It could. But I don't see it. I think it could happen. It could happen. I mean, the Browns. They still have Winston put some heart and soul in that team, more heart and soul than what Watson has ever done. So that could be the boost. But I think the Broncos win this game. I think it's going to be a closer game than what most think. I think the Broncos win, but don't cover. I'm going to say 23-21 Denver. I just think, Winston might hit a couple deep balls with, Surtain. I don't understand it. They have him on certain guys, so he might be on Tillman this week. So Tillman or Judy will be on either one. So maybe either one of those guys. He'll probably be on Judy and want to stick it up their ass, Judy. So they'll say put Surtain on him. Maybe Tillman scores a long one. Chubb might score again. It's gonna be it's one of those games where. Yeah, it's supposed to be 42 degrees and, it's a night game, so it doesn't matter. But, one of those games where it's just a close game all along. I don't see this game being no blowout. I think it's going to be a close game, but the Broncos taking it. Maybe at the end of the game, they score a late touchdown or whatever, or they clinch a late first down. It's going to be one of those games. It's going to be interesting, but give me the Broncos. So there you have it. Week 13 NFL picks and predictions. I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. After this, I hope the MLB free agency picks up. Man, it's been dead besides the Angels, which that ain't anything special. They suck. But hope everybody enjoys the week of games, your Thanksgiving gatherings, your Black Fridays, everything. And I'll see you guys back here with week 14 already, man. Can't believe it. So, see you guys next week. Enjoy the games, Thanksgiving. Hope you have a good one. And as always, Skol Vikings, not Vikes this week. Vikings. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week.